What is going on, Wastelanders? It is me, the Lone Bot Wanderer, and if you don't know, I am a huge Bioshock fan. I've completed the entire series, Bioshock 1, 2, and Infinite, and just behind Fallout, it is easily one of my favourite video game IPs of all time. Last week, I even sent out a tweet stating that if any news referring to the new Bioshock game popped up, that I would cover that news on my channel. Well, here we are. Today, 2K, the publisher of the Bioshock series, sent out two cryptic tweets. The first of those tweets reads as follows: "Luxury for the privileged few is outdated. This is the future of urban living. #Advent," with a link to the URL adventfuture.org. This tweet contained a picture with the sentence, quote, "Move in today and start living in the world of tomorrow." 2 hours later, 2K sent out another tweet which simply said #Advent, but was accompanied by a GIF. This GIF first shows the same picture and message contained in the original tweet by 2K, but then glitches out to show the sentence, quote, "Move in today and fear the world of tomorrow." Then there is the website adventfuture.org. This is where things really get interesting. Now, first of all, the purpose of this video is to look for the key things in this Advent teaser that might indicate what game 2K is actually teasing. It is my strong opinion that this tease is not referring to a new IP, but instead relates to the Bioshock series. Let me explain why. Firstly, Bioshock Infinite was released in 2013, Bioshock 2 was released in 2010, and the original Bioshock was released in 2007. You notice how there is a 3-year period between the release of each of these titles. Applying this logic, we can expect to see a new Bioshock game in 2016, which would make sense if 2K announced the game at E3 of this year. Now, we know that back in 2014, Take-Two and Ken Levine announced that Irrational Games, the main studio developing the Bioshock series up until this point, was letting go of most of its staff and winding down to all but 15 members to work on, quote, "a smaller, more entrepreneurial endeavor" within Take-Two. Since then, Ken Levine has teased about his upcoming game, which is a first-person sci-fi game. Some of you may ask whether this new Advent game could be the title that Ken Levine is working on. I do not think that this is the case. Firstly, Irrational Games became defunct only last year, and it was working on Bioshock Infinite DLC up until that point. So if we assume that Kevin and his smaller team began working on his new title just last year, it seems too early for a teaser of that game to be released just a year later. Secondly, in its quarterly earnings report earlier this month, 2K teased that, quote, "A soon-to-be-announced new AAA title from 2K is coming as well." It is very likely that this comment relates to the Advent tease, which has just come out today, especially because CEO of Take-Two Interactive Software, Strauss Zelnick, which owns 2K Games, stated that the announcement for the upcoming AAA title would be made soon. It seems that soon means right now. Furthermore, given that the entire reason Ken Levine downsized his studio was to enable him to work on a smaller project with a much smaller team, it is unlikely that this new tease, if we assume it to be in fact the new AAA title that 2K teased last month, is related to Ken's new game. Secondly, let's actually take a look at the adventfuture.org website itself. In short, the site serves as an advertisement for the Advent administration, which is striving to create a utopian world free from hunger, pain, sickness, and war. However, the website has been hacked, with messages that suggest that the world of Advent is in fact a dystopia. Now, what is a dystopia, you ask? It is, quote, "an imagined place or state in which everything is unpleasant or bad, typically a totalitarian or environmentally degraded one." Now, what games meet this definition of dystopia? Well, Bioshock 1, 2, and Infinite, of course. The worlds within these games perfectly exemplify the definition of dystopia. Take Bioshock 1, where Andrew Ryan wanted to create a beautiful utopia for the populace, known as Rapture. but with the discovery of Adam and plasmids that allowed users to alter their DNA to grant them superhuman powers, the world quickly crumbled into a dystopia. This transition from utopia to dystopia was perhaps officially complete after New Year's Eve of 1958, where Atlas ordered an all-out attack on Ryan. The battle left many dead, but some residents of Rapture, addicted to Adam, now called splicers, still roamed the hallways, crazed out of their minds, desperately hunting down little sisters to obtain as much Adam as they could. This description of Bioshock 1 has a lot of similarities with the Advent Future website. Again, the website shares the messages building a brighter future together, and the Advent administration strives to create a world free from hunger, pain, sickness, and war. We believe in a global community of happy and comfortable citizens. These messages share similarities to the justifications that Andrew Ryan used when building the world of Rapture in Bioshock. Specifically, he wanted to create a paradise free from all of the people he saw as parasites, a true place of rapture. Andrew Ryan wanted to create a capitalist society free of religious and government interference, where any citizen could achieve for his or her own gain rather than for the altruistic fulfillment of the wants and needs of others. The world's best and brightest would be granted freedom of will and choice in Rapture, unrestrained by government, religion, and similar established institutions. As you can see, the messaging used by both the Advent administration and Andrew Ryan contained the strong theme of utopia, in the sense that the world would generally be better and free of things that can be seen as negative, i.e. hunger and sickness for Advent and government and religious interference for Rapture. Moreover, there are dystopian themes that are shared between the Advent website and the world of Rapture. As you scroll through the Advent Future website for the first time, the messaging detailing a utopian world is altered to reveal a much more sinister side to the story. You start to see messages that the Advent is lying to you, we are still watching, sign up at your peril, and millions have gone missing. What this suggests to me is that the world of Advent is not what it seems and is in fact a dystopia where people have gone missing and the administration is lying about the world itself. The scenario is quite similar to how Rapture was first seen as a beautiful utopia where brilliantly minded people had true freedom, but then turned into a dystopian world that was dangerous and full of death. Another major similarity that I can see with the Advent Future website and the Bioshock series is the mention of gene modification and DNA splicing. As I alluded to before, the world of Bioshock was turned on its head with the discovery of Adam, a substance harvested and processed from a type of sea slug, which alters the user's DNA to have many benefits, mostly in the form of gene tonics. Then you have plasmids, which also alters DNA, but in a way that adds traits which can be actively used, like electrobolt or telekinesis. Now the Advent website portrays something very similar. The site details how Advent gene therapy will free you from illness, and how, quote, a complex and cutting-edge system of DNA splicing has led to cures, not only for the viruses and infections that for millennia haunted us, but for mental illnesses as well. As you can see, the themes of DNA splicing and genetic modification are strong in both the Bioshock and Advent worlds. It is my theory that, just like what happened in Bioshock, the DNA splicing and gene modification in the world of Advent will also help lead to its downfall into dystopia. Lastly, there is one more similarity that I would like to point out. When you first enter the world of Rapture in Bioshock 1, you are treated to an introduction video narrated by Andrew Ryan, the creator of Rapture, who tries to explain why he created the world of Rapture and how the underwater city was intended to be a beautiful utopia.
I am Andrew Ryan, and I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican, it belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow, it belongs to everyone. I rejected those answers. Instead, I chose something different. I chose the impossible. I chose Rapture. artist would not fear the censor, where the scientist would not be bound by petty morality, where the great would not be constrained by the small. And with the sweat of your brow, Rapture can become your city as well.
As I read the Advent Future website, it's like I'm being treated in a manner similar to how I was treated by Andrew Ryan when first viewing his introduction video to the world of Rapture. The Advent Future website is trying to convince me that this world of Advent is a utopia that is for the better and offers a lot of benefits to me. And in addition to that, the hacking of the website that suggests that the world of Advent is a lie and is in fact a dystopia is also quite similar to how Atlas first warns the player Jack upon entering Rapture that the city was in fact a fallen utopia ruined by the discovery of Adam and by the events which occurred after the 1958 New Year's Eve riots.
Plasma's changed everything. They destroyed our bodies, our minds. We couldn't handle it. Best friends butchering one another, babies strangled in cribs. The whole city went to hell.
And that, Wastelanders, is my video as to why I think this Advent teaser by 2K Games relates to a new Bioshock game. If you disagree or want to share your thoughts, please share your opinions in the comments section below. From now on, I will try and cover every single piece of news related to the Advent website and potentially the new Bioshock game. So until next time, this has been the Lone Vault Wanderer. Please take care of yourself, and as always, keep fighting the good fight.